we are in LT3, or we are in Unit 3 with LT7. We're asked to summarize categorical data for two categories in two-way frequency tables. All right, so let's first get a definition of two-way tables. Two-way tables are a diagram used to organize bivariate data. Okay, bivariate meaning two sets, and then it's also categorical. So you'll want to add in that from the learning target. Categorical means that we can categorize it, okay? And we can also look at two-way tables to talk about frequency, and we'll get into what that means with some examples. Frequency is just like those percentages. So in LT6, when we were talking about the percentages of people who are going to vote, the percentage of people who are not going to vote, frequency talks about percentages. So let's get it right into an example here. Felipe surveyed students in his high school. Before we actually get started in what Felipe did, let's take a look at the table. Okay, we have cell phones, no cell phones total, MP3 player, no MP3 player total. So I'm thinking we're looking at who has cell phones, who has MP3 players, who doesn't. Okay, so if I look here, cell phones, I'm going to put those that have cell phones and MP3 players here, cell phones without MP3 players here. The total amount of cell phones goes here. Total amount of no cell phones goes here. Total amount of MP3 players goes here. Total amount of no MP3 players goes here. Total amount surveyed, all the people, will go here. So he found that 78 students own a cell phone, and 57 of those students own an MP3 player. So 78 students have a cell phone. So that would be our total for cell phones. 57 of those have an MP3 player. Okay, so 57 and 78 is what we have. There are 13 students that do not own a cell phone, but own an MP3 player. So MP3 player, yes. Cell phone, no. 13. Okay. 9 students do not own either device. So that means 13 and 9 is going to give us, there are 22 students who do not have a cell phone. And 78 plus 22 is going to give me, there were 100 people surveyed. And then 57 and 13 is going to tell me that there were 70 people that have MP3 players. 70 people plus 30 people tells me we'll get to our total of 100. And then I could either find the missing link here or take 30 minus 9 and tell me 21 people are going to have no MP3 player but have a cell phone. So that's a two-way table, okay? Then with the two-way tables, we're going to ask you questions, and we might ask you percentages and all this kind of stuff. So let's look at another example. Here we're talking about males and females, who's left-handed, who's right-handed. So then again, we have our totals, total left-handed, total right-handed, total female, or total male, total female, totals. So how many females were in the survey? When it just says one category, we look for a total. How many females? 25. How many left-handed males? 2 categories. So left-handed males, 4 people. How many right-handed females? Right-handed female, 20. How many total people? We look at the total, 52. And what percentage of all students surveyed were left-handed? So 9 out of 52 were left-handed. So that will give us 9 divided by 52 is 0.173, so about 17%. All right, so these are just ways that we use what two-way tables can do for us. All right, so before class, why don't you complete the missing parts of a two-way table, and then you're asked what percentage of all students surveyed have no pets. That is what your task is for tomorrow.